quash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else. I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to quash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was or whatever.
Oh, Lord.
Here is a clean rewrite that keeps every detail and meaning intact while changing the wording and flow, all in one paragraph as requested. It looks like the tension between Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane is heating up again now that Pooh Shiesty is coming home, and the situation is wild because Gotti allegedly turned on the very CEO who helped shape his career, moving in a way that feels straight-up snake behavior. Behind the rise of the CMG empire, there were moves being made while Pooh Shiesty was locked up, with Gotti knowing full well that pulling him into the middle of this would reopen a dangerous beef that once nearly destroyed both sides. What started as a basic record deal slowly evolved into full-blown street politics, and the reality behind it is far more strategic than most people realize, and we are about to lay it all out. Before breaking it down, let's be real, social media has been going crazy with rumors that Pooh Shiesty wants out of 1017 while Gotti has been posting him like he is already CMG. And when Pooh finally came home from his federal sentence, the entire landscape had shifted. He was ready to jump back into making money, but what he did not expect was his own label head moving funny when it came to the money. And this is not just a normal contract issue because it is rooted in loyalty, respect, and two OGs with unresolved history. Things get extra messy when a top artist wants to leave one camp to join their biggest rival, because that is when business turns personal. So to understand this fully, you have to go back to the early 2010s when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti were actually close, a time when they were dominating the South together, both coming straight from the trenches, Gucci out of Zone 6 Atlanta and Gotti out of North Memphis, with mutual respect built from shared struggle. This was not a fake industry friendship either, because they genuinely respected each other. With Gucci already established as the trap king but seeing himself in Gotti's hunger, authenticity, and determination to escape the streets. Back then, joint mixtapes between two major artists were not common. So when they dropped projects together, it felt like watching two elite forces pushing each other creatively, with every track hitting and the streets fully locked in. The turning point came on October 17, 2012, a date that meant everything to Gucci because it symbolized his brand 1017, and he had been promoting his Trap God mixtape around that date for months, understanding that timing was critical in an era where mixtapes still drove real momentum. Everything was already in motion, from marketing to features to distribution, all pointing to October 17th being Gucci's moment. Until Yo Gotti announced that CM7 The World Is Yours would drop the exact same day. And while Gotti claimed it was unintentional, the timing raised serious questions given how close they were and how heavily Gucci had been pushing that date. Gotti said he thought it would be dope for both of them to drop together and shut the internet down, but that mindset ignored the business reality that dropping on the same day splits attention, streams, sales, and media coverage, especially when fan bases overlap. Beyond numbers, release dates are about ownership of the moment, and Gucci felt that sharing his spotlight, especially after building it up for months, was a major violation. Gotti tried calling Gucci immediately to clear it up, but Gucci ignored the calls, even when Gotti reached out through people in his camp, and while the silence spoke volumes, Gucci also had another issue because Gotti had just released the I Got Racks remix with T.I. and Jeezy, knowing Jeezy was Gucci's biggest enemy at the time. Gucci finally addressed it with a tweet asking why someone would drop on 1017 if they were not Brick Squad, making the disrespect clear without naming names, and although Gotti later said they spoke and he moved his release to October 18th out of respect, Gucci was still furious, especially about the Jeezy situation, later saying on radio that Gotti tried to ride his wave by dropping on his date. The situation completely blew up when Gucci released Birds of a Feather and said he used to mess with Gotti until he turned into a buster, publicly humiliating him on wax, which forced Gotti to respond with Have Mercy, officially ending the friendship. Things went even further when Gotti revealed in a Breakfast Club interview that he had slept with Keisha Cole while Gucci was locked up on a probation violation, brushing it off as part of the game, despite the fact that Gucci had been sent to jail after completing only 25 of his required 600 community service hours, leading the judge to revoke his probation and sentence him to a year behind bars.
Handcuffed and taken to jail as after a judge revoked part of Radrick Davis's probation. Prosecutors claimed that the rapper had only completed 25 hours of the 600 hours of community service he was ordered to perform.
Good afternoon, Fred. The judge said, judging by his record, Radrick Davis, otherwise known as Gucci Mane, is not a worthy candidate for probation. So the judge decided to end a portion of his probation and send him.
While Gucci was locked up and unable to protect his relationship or even properly communicate with Keisha Kaur, Gotti made his move, later claiming he did not know Gucci was that serious about her and brushing it off as casual street behavior. But that explanation never sat right because no matter what, you do not deal with your homie's woman while he is behind bars, and the way Gotti laughed about it in interviews only made it look worse. Things escalated when Gucci was locked up again in 2013, facing up to 20 years on 2 federal firearm charges after weapons were found on him in separate incidents. And with his record, the feds were clearly trying to bury him, but that prison time ended up changing his life for the better. When Gucci came home in 2016, he was completely different, clean, focused, healthier, down 40 pounds from detoxing off lean, with a new baby, a stronger label, and no interest in petty drama, choosing to move like a businessman instead of a Twitter warrior, making better music, signing smarter artists, and actually building an empire. By 2020, Gucci signed a young Memphis rapper named Pooh Shiesty, who stood out with raw street energy that reminded people of the old Gucci but still connected with the new generation, making him a perfect fit for 1017 because his background, hunger, and desperation to escape the streets mirrored Gucci's own story. That momentum slowed when Pooh Shiesty caught a federal conspiracy case in October 2021 and was eventually sentenced to 5 years, a situation that usually kills an artist's career. Yet during that time, Gucci publicly showed love, saying he missed him, promising the label was holding him down, and even cutting most of the roster except Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. While Pooh was locked up, the industry kept evolving, deals got bigger, streams increased, and artist value skyrocketed, so when he came home, he realized his worth had grown significantly, which is where Yo Gotti stepped in. CMG had been aggressively signing talent, and Gotti began heavily promoting Pooh Shiesty on social media, not just showing casual love but giving him real exposure, even sending Glorilla to collaborate with him, all while knowing Pooh's 1017 deal was up for renegotiation and positioning CMG as the better option. According to people close to the situation, when talks started, Gucci allegedly offered numbers far below Pooh Shiesty's actual value, offers that insiders described as disrespectful, more suitable for a new artist than someone who had already generated millions and major cultural impact, making it seem like Gucci was leaning on loyalty instead of rewarding it properly. Gucci has not gone public because he handles business privately now, but sources say he is not happy about Gotti trying to poach his biggest star, which is understandable since it feels like history repeating itself, first with the October 17th release situation and now with his top artist. The difference now is that Gotti has a bigger platform, more leverage, and stronger industry backing, with CMG viewed as one of the hottest labels while 1017 struggles outside of Pooh Shiesty. At the center of it all is Pooh Shiesty, caught between loyalty to the man who gave him his first real shot and the opportunity to secure a bigger bag elsewhere, showing how much the game has changed, where money often outweighs street loyalty, even though disrespect is still disrespect. If Pooh leaves 1017 for CMG, it sends a clear message to artists everywhere that loyalty has limits and better deals exist, potentially opening the door for more artists to demand fair treatment or jump ship, and that shift alone could reshape how labels move going forward.